connecting and make sure that, yep, I can see that everybody is up. You'll see me in just a few. I want to make sure that I have the notification over on my Facebook because Facebook likes to go a little slower than YouTube. All right, well, here we are. I think this is good. I can see all of you all. Let me make sure that I can see the comments here. Great. Yes, I see everyone. Wonderful. All right, well, I am going to have all of you all see me in exactly 3, 2, and 1. Day 2, part 2 of Creative Connections with Kate, and it is day 2 of my favorite things week here. And my favorite things, there are so many favorite things that I have, not only in life, but on beadshop.com. Let me make sure. I'm just going to move the chat over here so I can see both chats here kind of at the same time. Alrighty, perfect. So we've got a lot of fun stuff to go over today. If you saw the newsletter this morning, you saw that Drea has a post up of some of my favorite things, and we just launched, I'll go over here so you guys can see them. We just launched the project that I did a while back. It was the Frida Fiesta Earrings that I did. And I also did, I think it was around my birthday last year, I did a mix, a Frida bead mix that was a giveaway that some of you really loved and wanted to get the recipe for. So that recipe mix is up there as well. But it's these tubes. These tubes were in the mix, and surprisingly it's very similar to the earrings that I did here. So you can check out the blog, the Bead Table blog, for that and those particulars. So, but this is the mix that I made, and I don't know if Krista's jumped on yet, but Krista was like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite mix that you've ever made. So, and it was one of mine too. I loved it. And I'll show you the colors real quick if you want to jot them down. I'll do that before we get going. I also wore some of my other favorite things today. Today's broadcast is going to kind of be all over the place because when it comes to my favorite things, I've got a lot of them. Now, I don't know if Janice remembers this piece that I'm wearing here, but this is a piece that's called, from way back in the day, it's a class I used to teach over at the bead shop when we were a brick and mortar store. This, and great, Drea's watching too. Thank you, Drea. All of the colors are listed on the blog post. So I'm not going to even go over them here. I'm not going to even waste your time. If you jump over to our blog, the bead table, okay, those are all linked over there. And it's a fun mix. It was just a little mix that I threw out last year for my birthday. So this piece is another favorite thing of mine, and since we're kind of Fridaing it up, I thought I would wear it today. And again, I pulled this out of the vault, the bead vault, and I'll put it in the center here so you guys can kind of see it. This was a piece that was called Secrets of Tibet, okay? And let me arrange this on my, I've got my macrame board here. It's not that pretty, but you guys will understand here. It was called Secrets of Tibet, and there it is. Okay, and whoops, you can also see my iPhone cord. Let me plug that into my phone instead of having it lay there. Now, I'm going to get a little more up close and personal with this. And I don't know if you guys were back in the mid-90s, we're into the polymer clay phase, right? Now to you, these look like copal amber, right? Look at what I've got there. Copal, amber, beautiful. Turquoise, big, like Tibetan turquoise pieces, wasn't it? These over here, kind of some bone pieces here. I want to tell you, all of these beads here I made out of polymer clay. That's right. Polymer clay. They're not real. They're faux. They are polymer beads that I have made to so many years ago to look like the real thing, right? When you get them, the old African ones, which are mended with wire and stuff and put resin inside with little bits of turquoise and stuff. These big turquoise pieces inlaid, right? And so Secrets of Tibet came about because I took a class way, way, way back in the day from a polymer clay artist by the name of Tori Hughes, who has since passed away. She passed away in 2018, unfortunately. She was an amazing artist, and she taught polymer imitatives. And I took at the very first embellishments before bead and button became embellishments back in the day when it was in Houston, Texas. And I think it was about 95. I'd been working for the bead shop for a couple of years. And Janice sent me to the embellishments conference in Houston to kind of learn some new stuff, right? Just kind of to learn, to just soak up some, some beady goodness, right? And so Tori Hughes was teaching, so I took this class from Tori, and we kind of became buddies, and would correspond, and, over the years. And I had gotten her permission to teach some of the things that I learned from her, and we turned this into a class at the bead shop, when and we got this necklace. This is an old, it was probably an Indian piece or something that was kind of strung with this, what they'd call kind of ethnic silver beads. We'd cut it up, right? It still has the original clasp, and then we'd make these beads, and then we would restring it. Okay, so it would be like an artifact that we found from Tibet. So this was way back, mid 90s. So this was kind of a Frida-esque kind of piece that I really loved. And so you can still find Tori Hughes. Her book is called Chameleon Clay. I think it's out of print, but you can find it still. And maybe someday it might be fun just to do, we used to sell polymer clay. This is Fimo. We used to sell it at the bead shop, and now it's not something that we want to get into selling, but it's very easy to find, in your local craft store. But yeah, these are not Tibetan turquoise. They are polymer clay. Right. So I don't know. I just felt like reminiscing with it and going back to it, since it was a broadcast of my favorite things. And it kind of leads us into, I'm gonna put it back on my neck. It's light because these are polymer, right? I mean, look at how we did that copal amber, and that's real dirt. I don't know, from probably outside our Mountain View classroom, right? Little just strips of imitative turquoise that I put in there and stuff. So it was really fun. It was a fun piece. It was a fun class to do. And I taught it a lot because it was really, really fun to create with. But I wanted to share some of my other favorites that kind of have that same feel, only in that they are kind of Frida feeling, right? So I'm going to bring some of these things back over. Let me get the board in here, so it's a little bit of a nicer background that we've got. And I want to share these earrings. Now, the earrings, this project just dropped today. Karen Andrea got it up on the website. And you'll remember these Fiesta earrings. They were done by, followed up with a tutorial. My tutorial's all dog-eared, you can see. But the fan earrings, they're on the ones that Danielle Wicks did for us. I think this is posted in the files of our, you can see all my papers are in disarray. But she did this really great tutorial about it, and I think it's probably also linked in the project. But if you check our files on the Bead Table Facebook group, or you can certainly watch the video that I did, because I altered it a little bit from Danielle's because I used some different sizes. So this is a really fun project to use these Crescent Crimp ends. And if you're a member of the Bead Table Facebook group, you saw that Gita has just put up, she just finished her bracelet. I know she was having a few issues with it, but she persevered. And so something like this, using these Crescent Crimps, this piece has actually been glued on the inside. So if you watch that broadcast, you can see how I use them. But essentially, I just put the beaded piece up there, squeeze it very lightly so as not to crack any of the beads, and you've got some glue in there, and it's glued in, and it's ready to go. Okay, and they kind of look like little Frida skirts, kind of, to me. I think they're kind of fun. I also brought some other pieces from that same launch that we did that weren't getting, I mean, they get a lot of love for sure, but I just wanted to show you something really quick that I thought might be kind of fun to do with them. Of course, we've got our Marrakesh crimps that are right here, our temple caps, the palace caps, and these rope caps. Now these are all meant to be glued into. Can you see that? They're not, they have a loop on the top, right? So like these Marrakesh and the Crescent, they are a glue-in. Okay. And so I wanted to just mix it up real quick, and I'm trying to keep these broadcasts this week kind of short because we've got some filling and stuff to catch up on. So, but I wanted to just show you a quick way on how to use these end caps. Of course, you could glue like cord and stuff into them, but I don't know. It was one of my favorite things to make, and since this broadcast is about my favorite things, I'm going to get rid of these. I'm going to keep these over there. You guys will remember a couple of broadcasts ago when I made some tassels, right? This was one, I think these were both Free Tip Fridays, right? And I showed you how to cut with the ultra suede and create a suede tassel like this with one of those big jumbo swivel clasps, right? I just love this so much. And I did a tassel with this, I think, is with tough cord, I think is what it is. It could be Ceylon, whatever. I strained it nicely with the straightening iron. But it's just a simple way to make a tassel. So both of those are up there. You'll find those guys. And the book name, it's called Polymer the Chameleon Clay, I think is what it's called. If you look up Tori Hughes, you'll be able to find her. And it is out of print, but it is a findable book for sure. But you remember with this ultra suede, right here, okay, I had cut a fringe with the ultra suede, okay, and what I did was I used my clear ruler, right, I marked off the top, and then I marked along, drawing my lines down, and I used my scissors, my really good scissors, to come in and cut this tassel. Okay, so I did that this morning with another piece of ultra suede. It's a little harder to see because I used the Bordeaux ultra suede that I used for the end, but you can kind of see there if I get a little close that I used for the end of that peyote stitch bracelet. what I did, I came through here, and what I love about these acrylic rulers is you can line everything up. So I did this here at about 3/8 of an inch. Here, drew that line so I'd have a top. And then the little tassel legs, I think, I drew another line at 2 inches. And then I marked them off every 1/8 of an inch. And so I have one more to mark. You can see it's, whoops, you can't because I'm out of frame. And it's super dark. I'm sorry that this ultra suede and this dark pen do not really work together all that well. But essentially what you do is you just line up your little line here with the last one you've drawn, and you come in with your pen, and you could use like a white marker as well, you know, if it's dark, and then you mark it on there. Okay. And so then essentially what you will do is you're going to cut this. This length is about 4 inches across this piece, right? And I'm just going to cut this across with my good thread scissors here. Okay. And I'm going to cut it in half. Since it's 4 inches, I'm going to give myself 2 inches of tassel, and then we'll see if it fits into any bead cap, because why not? So it's this one. Why not be off the cuff? Literally. I think it's going to be, let me go to this side. Be a little bit easier for me to measure. It's just over 4 inches, so I'm going to go just over 2, and I'm going to say that that's my center, and I'm going to cut this in half. Now as I'm cutting, because you probably have ultra suede left over if you did that project, you know, the O peyote that I did. So I'm just going to very quickly cut up the lines, and can you see, I'm going to get a little closer there. Can you see there are the lines that I've just drawn out with my gridded ruler. Now I come to this from the quilt world, from my mom, using this gridded ruler to measure out quilt blocks and to cut using my rotary cutter. So those of you that are quilters are familiar with these. The brand is Omni Grid. Again, it's not something that we carry here at Bead Shop, but it's very easy to find in your local quilt shop or craft store. And so see how I'm just clipping up to where that line is. Okay. And I'm just going to keep clipping. It's not going to take very long. You're going to use your good thread or fabric scissors for this, right? These are my really good, very sharp. Do not use these on anything else but fabric under penalty of death scissors, right? We all, as sewists, those of you who are seamstresses, know and understand how you guard these scissors with your life. Mine have a note on them, right? But Chris knows better. He would never use these for anything else but fabric. So I'm almost there cutting this little fringe. I really love the ultra suede. We carry it in a bunch of different colors as well. But I think it's really kind of kicky and fun to use, especially if you're going to use it with these caps. Now this is 2 inches. I have no idea if this is going to fit into any of the bead caps I've pulled, but we're going to see. Okay, so I've cut that fringe. Okay, and so it's nice and even. It's easier to see a little bit in this green, right? But it's cut the same way. All right. Now I'm going to roll that sucker up, and I've got the 3 caps here. I've got the palace cap, the temple, and the rope cap. We could also look at the crescent cap here too. I mean, you could do this same thing where you kind of, I don't know, this might be too thick, but you kind of, you know, put it in between. It's a little thick, but you know, that could be a topper on something like this too. Obviously the scale of this fringe is too big for that one, but you get my meaning. Maybe the Marrakesh, it would also be cool if you're not into earrings so much. You could do it as a centerpiece Tammy Drennan, if you're watching, I know how A, you love fringe, B, you love centerpieces. So see, something like that could also happen with these guys here. Okay. So, so I think that would work pretty well. And yeah, I cut these also. Someone was saying, Shelly, you were saying about using your rotary cutter. Yeah, you can definitely cut the sides and stuff with the rotary cutter. For me to be really precise up here to this line, I'll use my scissors. But if you are very familiar with a rotary cutter and love to do that, love to cut with your rotary cutter, by all means do it. I love my rotary cutter as well. So I'm just going to roll this up with the pen marks on the inside. Okay, roll it. And I'm not going to do any gluing or anything yet because I want to see what it might fit. So there's that little roll. And let's see, it looks a little small for that one, but it looks like it fits in that palace cap. Whoops, you know, you can't see it, just perfectly. Okay, I'm going to get the lighter background here so maybe we can see it a little bit better. There we go. I think that's, the camera is a little happier with this background. So see how, and I'll pull it up a little bit, see how you can see that there's a little, we want it to be a little bit higher up. So I cut, this was about a 1/2 inch. Let me measure it. No, it was about 3/8 of an inch. So I'm going to just freehand this sucker and cut it down just a little. There we go. That's about 1/8 of an inch off. It's almost even, right? Almost. Let's roll this back up. And let's fit it back in that palace cap. There we go, perfect. And you can see how the fringe just comes on out of it. So let's go ahead and glue it, okay, for fun. I've got a few more minutes. This has my, this says JP New Sample on the back, so just bear with me for this. I'm going to use E6000 because I want it to be, kind of malleable, and I want to find my toothpicks. There they are. And you've seen me do this before with the with this tassel, the way I glued it with the E6000. This is just the same way. I'm extruding a little bit of E6000 on this shiny bag, and I'm going to get my toothpick and be very careful as I apply. I'm just going to apply a row of E6000, not all the way down to that line, because we don't want that E6000 to come down into the tassel. And when we roll this, the E6000 is going to redistribute itself, right? Kind of go a little bit lower. So there it is. Now let's do the roll. All right, and I'm just going to come in. And so this was 4 inches that I cut and fringed, and this is half, 2 of the 4, right? I still have this 4 to cut up. So now here's my little rolled piece. We're going to double check that it goes into the cap. It does. So now we're going to add, oh, see, you can just see, it's just, how easy is that? Can't be any easier, can't be any faster. I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the top, that E6000, your friend and mine, and a little bit along the outside using your toothpick. Okay. Now it's that same thing if I were gluing these, the Crescent ones too. It's the same thing. I'd use that E6000 to glue them right in. Okay. And then I'm going to get my Palace cap top. And I'm just going to shove this bad boy right in there until it reaches the top. There we go. And remember, we didn't want to put too much glue because we don't want it to come out the bottom. So I'm going to use my handy dandy toothpick from my dollar store toothpick holder from my mom. She's given me many things over the years. Some really fabulous gifts. But this one I probably use the most, Ma. So here it is. Okay? And that's it. So you could make a tassel out of anything, like I said, with thread, right? Glue it up there. You just need to kind of practice and play around. Where are the other caps? Here and here. The temple cap is a little smaller, and then this rope cap is a little smaller. The rope would be really nice, I think, with a threaded tassel. Okay? And then, just to kind of be Frida-esque, I thought, this isn't dry. What I'd let him do is I'd sit overnight, right? I'd let him sit overnight and really cure. But I found these yellow dandelions, and if you are familiar with the work of La Maestra Frida, you know that she used a lot of yellow, a lot of bright colors. And so I thought, you know what? If this is going to be a Frida-esque move, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to steal 2. I like those. Maybe I like the blue better. No, you know what? Maybe I like these pink better. Let's add just a dash. There we go. That's what I like. I'll put those back in. So if you get this tube, you're going to be missing 2 beads because I used them in this piece. I'm going to put just a soupçon of color right around there. Now let's make our loop. We know how to make our earring loop, and then this will go on an ear wire eventually. Up and over the top. You remember these from earring week last week, right? And then to connect, I could connect it directly. Whoops, out of frame, Richburg. This is our hibiscus flower, our hibiscus bead flower. It's a nice one. Let me see if I want to connect it with a jump ring. I'm just gonna see. That's just a small one. It's the 5mm, to give it a little more swing, because we like swing here. And you know, the colorway, I don't know if you've ever been to Casa Azul, but Frida's home in the outskirts of, well, it's not the outskirts anymore, but in Mexico City. So colorful. Sometimes I forget to wear color, you know. If you look in my closet, it's mostly black, but black does work with a pop of color. And see how that little jump ring, how it makes it have some movement to it, right? And then I'll add an ear wire for that. Now you could, as I say, we could probably cut this 2-incher in half and use it, you know, that might be about the right amount for one of these other, whoops, sorry, I'm trying to display it and you guys can't see it. But you just have to experiment. You could, you know, do some practice ones with some, you know, before you cut into your ultra suede there. But this is definitely one of my favorite things. These Frieda earrings are my Frida mix from, I'll click it over there, that from that birthday mix that I did. And these big hibiscus flowers. I'll finish the other one here, the other, what happened to that other palace cup? I'm working so quickly I can't find the other one, but you see how it will go together. And that was super, super fast, right? Easy, quick, couldn't be simpler. All right, so that's your daily dose of Kate's favorite things today. I really do. I have to find that other palace cap. It's driving me crazy. But I'll find it, and I'll complete the other earring. And eventually these will be up on the website for you guys, like these Fiesta earrings are here. But you don't need the, I mean, that's all. That's all the instruction is. You don't need to, this would be a great tassel for your handbag or for anything. It doesn't have to be an earring. I like a say something earring, so that is something that I would definitely wear. Okay. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I want to show you a little sneak peek tomorrow. You're going to see this come up on the web. This is Janice's latest piece here. And it's a charm bracelet that she's made. And it's really gorge. Gorge. I'll show you that right there. And sorry about this kind of, I don't know why I'm using this. I've had the macrame board out. I guess it's also one of my favorite things. I don't know. So that's why I'm using it as the background for it. But it is a really fun, great charm bracelet project. We're going to talk about it a little bit tomorrow in Kate's favorite things, and I'm going to grab a couple of my I have the world's biggest charm bracelet collection because, again, that's also one of my favorite things. So we're going to talk about charm bracelets and stuff. But you can see we use the Clio clasp, and there's some fun ways of putting this together. So Janice really outdid herself with this one. It's going to be gorgeous. Okay, so that will wrap up our favorite things. Let me go over. There was a couple of questions about the ruler that I was using. Let me show you that. It's called Omni Grid. And again, it's not something that we carry here at Bead Shop. I wish we could carry every crafting supply there is, but then we wouldn't be beadshop.com. We'd be like, big craftinghousesupply.com, which is not what we want to do. It's called Omni Grid, and it comes in a million different shapes and some sizes and stuff, but it's a quilting, something from the quilting world. And again, it's clear and it's marked off in the 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch marks, and it's really great to use for measuring. And I'm sure if you Google how to use an Omni Grid ruler with a rotary cutter, and I did it also on this broadcast, I showed you this, but I'll tell you, it is a really handy tool to have. Oh, I love it. Linda Longacre, who was at our retreat when my mom did the little goodie bags for the retreat. That's so funny. Mom, you'll love this. Linda Longacre says she still uses that toothpick holder that when you gave them out at the retreat. She thinks of you every time she pulls out a toothpick. I love it. That's so funny. That's great. So that's what this was. And there's all kinds of really great sewing scissors you can find out there. These are Mondial. I've had these, I don't know, they probably need sharpening. They've got a little bit of something on there, which is disturbing me, but I don't know, I've probably had these, I don't know, 30 years or something, right? So these are two good sewing, pieces or pieces to have in your sewing world. This finished bracelet, the charm bracelet, there was also that question. It'll be up as a project. It'll be linked in tomorrow's newsletter. So let me put this card up just so you guys know. I know a lot of you are fairly new to watching this, but if you go to beadshop.com, you'll find the info on all of the project and the products from the broadcast. So you will see that linked in the newsletter, and it'll also be in projects under bracelet. Yeah, the mix of silvers, it's gorgeous. Janice really just let me click it back here, really just outdid herself. So we'll talk about this again a little bit tomorrow. I'll give you one last look on my Secrets of Tibet piece, and I'm going to put I think these as earrings. I could definitely get away with those. And I'm also wearing, I don't know if you guys have seen it, this is some filigree earrings I got at Casa Azul, made by the family that would make some of Frida's traditional Oaxacan jewelry. So it was kind of a Frida-esque little homage to La Maestra, as well as some little beadwork and some fun stuff going on. All right, well, that being said, I gotta go. The materials list and everything will be up for tomorrow with this and this chain. It's called the Teardrop Bauble. So you'll see the Teardrop Bauble up there. And these will eventually be done and up with something. All right. Well, kids, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. As always, what is today? I don't even know. Who are you people? What are you doing in my Facebook group? It is May 13th. It is Wednesday. We've made it through May. So keep hanging in there, you guys. I know that a lot of parts of our country are slowly opening up, which is a great thing. We want to see that, but we also want to make sure, you guys, that you stay safe. I know a lot of us are just like so flippin' over wearing masks and staying home and washing our darn hands. But, the curve is flattening. We're getting through this. We're learning how to live in this time of pandemic. And as we follow the science, as we look at those things, we just really need to continue to be cautious. I know I want a haircut real bad. So just please, please, please stay safe. Stay grounded, take a moment, because I'll tell you, I've been super grumpy lately. I may look super shiny on Facebook and YouTube, but other than that, I am Grump Town. So just hang in there, you guys, right? Go put on a pretty shirt or make yourself a pair of earrings and just have a great day. You're going to be okay. We're okay. I'm okay. You're okay. Okay? So I will see you tomorrow for the third installment of Kate's Favorite Things, Charm Bracelets. I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks so much for being with me. Stay safe, you guys. See you soon.